Waffles from scratch is a tasty recipe that'll also impress your friends. In a large mixing bowl, add 2 cups of flour. Then add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Lastly, put half teaspoon of salt. Then set the bowl aside. Now we're going to mix the wet ingredients in a smaller mixing bowl. First, put in 2 cups of milk. I like to use fat-free milk because it tastes less thick to me than other kinds, but you could use 1% or 2% if you want to. Make sure to put the milk back in the fridge. Then we're going to add about a tablespoon of melted butter, and you want to preheat this beforehand. And 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now we're going to mix in 2 egg yolks only into our wet ingredients. Set the egg whites aside in a different bowl. Now whisk your wet ingredients together until the sugar has dissolved. Now mix in your wet ingredients into that large bowl we set aside earlier. Do this slowly and little by little. Proceed doing this until your wet ingredients run out. Keep whisking and combining all your ingredients together until you see no lumps in your bowl. Now grab a fork and whisk the egg whites we set aside earlier until they become foamy. Then pour it into your batter and mix it thoroughly. Time to make the scramble. For our egg scramble mixture, I'm using 3 eggs, which will feed about 3 people. I'm going to add some extra spices and herbs to it because it'll give more flavor. had some leftover onions from a previous meal that I stored in the Tupperware, so I'm going to include these in our scramble as well. When your onions are starting to look a little more cooked and tender, spray some Pam, and this is where you're going to toss your tomatoes in. This is optional, but I'm putting in some chopped green onions because it's going to add a nice color and give extra flavor. Mix all the ingredients together in your frying pan. Now add in your egg mixture and toss around the egg and vegetables together with your spatula. Look how beautiful all the colors mesh well together. When your eggs look cooked, that's when you know your scramble's done. When it's time to cook your waffle, spray a lot of Pam on the bottom and top lid of your iron. Start pouring your batter in the middle. You don't really have to pour it on the outside edges because it'll ooze naturally, and when you close the lid, you don't want the batter to overflow. I'm going to set my iron to level 3 because I want my texture of the waffles to be not too crunchy and not too soft. When it's beeping, that should mean it's done. Get a fork or spatula and start lifting the edges. And touch it to make sure it's not raw on the inside either. Lay your waffles on a cooling rack so they can cool down before you eat them. When plating, garnish your scramble with some freshly chopped tomatoes. And here's your finished product: some bacon, homemade waffles, and your side scramble.